Hey everyone, my name is Dr. George Birnbach, and today I want to talk about why most leadership fails. You see, when we're training our staff or we're training our doctors or working with anyone in our practices, we're trying to give leadership and management lessons. And when we look at most leadership development programs or trainings, they often struggle just a little bit. And by sidestepping these four common mistakes, it can help your practice develop faster and stronger and develop better, more capable leaders inside of the practice itself. And when you have capable leadership, you save time, you save money, and you increase your morale. The first thing you need to understand is we need to not overlook context. Context is so critical. And the way we develop context is using the words so that you. So that you. Hey, I want you to answer the phone this way so that you make a good connection with a new person who is unfamiliar with us. Hey, I want to teach you how to generate new patients on your own so that you have the skills to develop your business in the future. Mary, we don't put that over there, we put it over here so that we can get this result with the patient. So the first leadership flub is losing context of whatever we're trying to teach, because then it just looks like I'm trying to get my way or have you run a checklist. So learn to use the words so that you. Speaking to a patient, I'd like you to come in twice next week so that you can increase the speed of your healthcare recovery. All right. The second is in leadership, we tend to decouple reflection from real work. So looking back on that, we could have done that differently. But again, what is the actual precise outcome we're trying to come up with? So we don't want to decouple training from the real work. And in there, we find a technique that's called the 50-50. We're going to learn something for 50% of the time we have, and then we're going to do that thing and teach that thing for 50% of the time we have. So if I'm trying to train an associate on how to look at posture, I'm going to explain to him what we're going to do about half of the time. And then he's going to demonstrate or perform that for 50% of the time. That way we're hitting multiple learning modes, and we're staying in a very good, positive, action-oriented state. All right. Number 3, you've heard me say 100 times, enthusiasm is worth 25 IQ points. The third flub in leadership is underestimating mindsets. Becoming a more effective leader requires changing behavior, but it also means changing the underlying mindset. The fastest way to change an underlying mindset is to attach it to a future vision. We're doing this because we're trying to get to this cool thing. We're trying to accomplish this important thing, so we need to do that today. And then the fourth is we fail to measure results in a short enough time frame. It's one thing to do a yearly review of your statistics. It's another thing to say, this is what we're trying to accomplish today. And if we're trying to accomplish it today, it gets measured today. If we're trying to accomplish it this week, we have a progress measurement and then a result measurement. Does that make sense? So if we're looking at our monthly statistics, we have progress statistics. These are the actions we're taking and the results we're getting from these actions. And then when we hit our time-based measurement, our monthly statistic, we look back and connect the dots of how we got to this production measurement. It's hard to connect the dots moving forward, imagining what will work and what won't work. But when we get to the end of the period, we can almost easily look back and say, this is how we got there. So those are the 4 context pieces, right? Going backwards, we have to measure the results in an adequate time frame for the process. And if we're going over a day, we'll have a progress statistic as well as a finished statistic. Then don't underestimate the mindsets that are needed. in order to make something work and to get a better mindset, attach it to a future vision. Don't remove the training from the real work. Learn to do a 50-50 model, We're going to learn for 50% of whatever time we have, and then we're going to demonstrate that skill for 50% of the time we have. And if we don't have a lot of time, shorten the amount you're trying to get someone to learn. And finally, number one is don't overlook the context. This is what I'd like you to learn so that you can have that. All right? That's the training for this week. These are the 4 skills or 4 habits that will make your leadership better. All right? Bye-bye.